Oh, hey, mom bitches. Today we are diving into the world of children's television in the explosive new docuseries Quiet on Set. It is such an eye-opening documentary and it has sparked so much conversation and controversy around the dark side of children's TV. There have been so many shocking allegations and actual charges of abuse and misconduct when they were filming a lot of these Nickelodeon shows when we were younger. And it is America's most beloved show. So it has just been so eye opening, whether it was inappropriate jokes, volatile behavior on set. We're unpacking all of this disturbing revelations and bringing to light all of the takeaways, including how we can protect our children. It is our job as parents to protect our children from exposure and harmful media and content. So grab your headphones, settle in. Let's get started on this important conversation. Women need to empower women, and our voice matters.
Bitch.
Welcome to the Mom Bitch Podcast. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Did you notice that new intro? We decided that we are not good at simultaneously speaking.
It will never be in sync.
We will never be in sync. We don't have that vibe personally. So you now have a new recorded intro, and I love it. We did it ourselves.
We sure did. You did it.
I mean, you echo your batch in the background. That's all we need. We have the best episode today because we are going to be talking about Quiet on Set, the Nickelodeon documentary. Cami, how did you feel? Because we haven't talked about it.
We haven't.
We've saved it for this.
I know.
How did you feel?
I mean, as I kept watching it, it got worse and worse. And by the last episode, I mean, I felt sick to my stomach. I'm not going to lie.
I feel like I had to take a lot of notes because it's like one of those docuseries where you purposely try to not remember a lot of the content that you just watched because it was absolutely disgusting. Let's just get into it. So I think the overarching part of this docuseries is about Dan Schneider because he was the producer of all of these popular TV shows. I had no idea that he was so responsible for so many of those episodes.
I had no idea who he was. I do remember as a kid seeing this random dude in the hot tub with Amanda Bynes. I remember that shit. And I was like, this is weird.
It's weird you say that because when I saw that flashback, I'm like, do I actually remember? It felt familiar. And I was like, do I remember it? Or am I just having one of those moments where I think I remember it, but I don't? But it seemed really familiar with me too.
I remember like talking to my sister about it. I'm like, this is kind of weird. Like, why is the grown man in the
clothed?
The pool? Yeah, clothed
with like a
bikini,
child in a bikini
popper. It was freaking weird.
Yeah.
And now seeing it now, it's just kind of like, okay, 100% inappropriate. What were those people thinking? Like, what were the producers thinking?
Yeah. And like, here's the thing is we saw it on TV, but think of all of the employees and they go into it. They go into it in the docuseries, like all of the employees that worked under that leadership, they all said that they were discriminated against or they were made to do just like the most unruly, uncomfortable things that would never be tolerated in the workplace today.
Nowadays, hell no. All the sexuality, the harassment, the bullying, especially when those women talked about it, I 100% like believed it.
Oh, 100%.
And it makes you really appreciate it. And they threw a highlight to the Me Too movement towards the end of it. And, you know, for all the women that came forward, it really made a difference. And, you know, without that movement, a lot of the things that they did change would never have changed.
Yeah. Like it's absolutely sad to see that, you know, I don't remember her name, but one of them, at least one of the writers, basically lost her career because of Nickelodeon. Whether she didn't want to come back or because she was iced out because she wasn't like following whatever status quo they defined for her.
Not to
Like,
mention when they made them split their salary, I was so
oh,
over it. I could not believe that. That was so slimy. No one else. And it was actually illegal, didn't she say? Like it was against the Writers
yeah.
Guild or something like that.
Yeah, they had like escalated it up and said, is this real? And they were
Yeah.
like, no, this isn't a rule.
Mm-hmm.
Watching the first couple episodes when they focused on Dan Schneider, all I could think about was if this was my child. You know, like they showed clips of like Ariana Grande, they showed clips of
That was
Amanda
wild.
Bynes,
Mm.
and you start to see that like these could be definitely taken very
Yeah.
sexually.
Oh yeah. The Ariana Grande one.
And it would definitely, I am by no means surprised that they ended up having the creeps on set that we're going to talk about
Oh yeah.
because hello,
Mm-hmm.
like that, like speaks for itself.
There is a dark side to Hollywood, so I'm honestly
Oh,
not
yeah.
surprised. So, that's
Yeah.
probably a high percentage of creeps probably work in Hollywood.
Here's my question for you. So it kind of goes into our next piece. Like child actors, they're asked to perform really risky material. And whether it's just part of the episode or if it's dares, whatever it was, one thing that I am still confused about, and I know that Dan Schneider went on, his name was Tebow on iCarly. It's an old child actor actually interviewed Dan Schneider after this
Mm,
documentary. And it made me question even more, but I was questioning it when I was watching it.
yeah,
But Dan Schneider had said, I wasn't the only person in the room. Like these scripts were approved by his bosses, their bosses,
right,
higher up,
right.
and the parents, and just the set. There were a lot of people that were present during filming
Hmm.
and allowed that and didn't push back on that.
But
And
it's
it made
like,
me think if it was my child, right? Like, ugh, I'd be off the set.
but the amount of gaslighting, and that's what they really highlight. There was so much gaslighting that it makes you be like, am I the problem?
That's right. They had that
And
mom come on and she
yeah,
was like too scared.
and they fired him. And,
You're right.
and then when the Drake's father came forward, oh, you're a homophobic bitch. So,
Uh-uh.
they turn it on the victims and they make it
They do.
and that's happens to a lot of victims, a lot of victim blaming, and they make it feel like it's all you. So I there were people who tried, but,
They
did not
just
prevail.
weren't, yeah,
Mhm.
they weren't able to prevail. And it
Mm-mm.
seems like you're like literally going up against a kingdom. I guess that answers my question because I thought about that. I'm like, I mean, he's got a point. Like people are there, but yeah, I mean, if you want your child to succeed, or
Yeah.
the child might even like downplay things happening
Mhm.
because they don't want to feel like they're missing
Yeah.
out. And like that one guy, he
Yeah.
still has mental health issues because
Yeah.
he feels like he never got his break because
Right?
of Nickelodeon. So that actually answers a really good question.
It also put adult concerns on children. I think one of them
Yes.
said, I felt responsible for, providing for my family and stuff. And they weren't going to mess up their break. They weren't,
Yeah.
and so then it was a very special environment that allowed this to breed.
Yeah. Okay. Jason Handy
Mm, mm, you
described
know,
himself as a full blown pedophile, worked on set with these children. And yes, this was under Dan Schneider and it was under
yeah.
Nickelodeon, but we can't put blame necessarily on them for this person. But how do you not see the innuendos? Like, what was your take on that?
I think the thing that struck me the most was when he wrote in one of the girls on all that in her little book. And he said, you're, a godly woman, keep God close, he'll keep you. I mean, that level of manipulation, mm, he was that good. I mean, that's
And
scary.
he looked like a very down to
Innocent,
earth,
nice guy,
almost like a Freddie Prince Jr. He was like a good looking guy,
Midwest.
like typical narcissist. But this is tough for me to say. It was really hard. Do you remember there was like an extra? that was on set, and she wasn't on the documentary, but her mother
Oh
was.
yeah, the Brandon
And
girl.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and he had sent a picture of
Mm-hmm.
himself
Mm-hmm.
to her, and the
Mm-hmm.
mom saw it,
Yeah.
and the mom did nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get behind that. I
Yeah.
know I shouldn't say that because I wasn't in the position,
Right.
but like I'm a firecracker. Like if I saw anything like that, I'd be knocking down those
Yeah.
doors. Like, how did you feel about that? Like,
So
it's
I
so
couldn't.
controversial. I know I
It
shouldn't
is.
maybe ask it,
I
but
couldn't really judge her for it because I don't know what she
right.
experienced in life. Maybe she saw someone's kids taken away from them because they reported abuse. I don't
You
know,
know what? That's a good point to look at
because
these type of docu-series from multiple lenses,
yeah,
which is why we created this podcast to have different
right.
perspectives because you're right. And I think she even said it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? She was scared that it would
Mhm.
come back on her.
Yeah.
And who knows what it was like in the 90s, early
Right.
2000s, like
Mhm.
in a situation like that.
And then you start to think, if you have anxiety, you're like, are they really going to believe me? It's my word against his. What if he's a liar? What if he's a good liar? What if my kid gets taken away from me? It's better to just zip it. And I can't say that
You
I
can
100%,
empathize.
yeah, blame
You can
her.
empathize.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get it. Yeah.
I I mean, he was just like self-explanatory. Like that's just disgusting. Hopefully he's serving his time and
Yeah.
just gross. Going back to Schneider though, what I find to be interesting about all of this is that, and it kind of leads me into Drake Bell,
Yeah.
but it's interesting that obviously Dan Schneider was an issue. I'm sure if he didn't see it then, he sees it now, right?
Mhm.
Like, let's
Mhm.
give
Mhm.
the guy the benefit of the doubt. He
Right.
wasn't arrested for anything truly
Right.
outrully,
Right.
but it's interesting that women in particular found him to be off putting,
Mhm.
but some of the cast didn't. Or they at least haven't come out to
Yeah.
say that they had a bad experience. And who I mean is Amanda Bynes. Like,
Hmm. I mean, we already know she had a bad experience. Look at how her life
you
has
think that had to
unfolded.
do with it?
Something
Yeah.
happened. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know
You
her
think?
personally, but like, I mean, she's on path with Drake Bell and Lindsay Lohan, and they all just kind of lost
They
their
all just
marbles.
went
Hmm.
off the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think her story is sad for me because I feel like, I grew up with her and I see her now
Yeah.
and, you
Hmm.
know, um, it really makes you wonder, and even
Hmm.
to be at an age where you'd want to emancipate your parents, I
Hmm.
imagine can't be hard. That
Hmm.
one's a tough one. Like I feel like I don't have enough information from the
I know.
documentary. She hasn't come out and said
I know.
anything.
I feel like that speaks
But
volumes.
also too she hasn't said anything and they make it seem like she had a very appropriate relationship with this guy, so that's kind of like the cliffhanger. That's like the TBD. Will that ever come out? Will there ever be anything more, or is that just tight-lipped and everyone's moved on?
It's weird. I mean, they said that she would massage him on set.
Oh yeah, like he
Yeah.
wanted that from everyone.
And then from her especially, like, no, no.
Yeah.
And everyone just kind of watched it. I don't know. Like,
And what's
I mean,
interesting is he was young, right, during all of this. He had to have been in his like 20s, 30s,
yeah.
right? Like he wasn't. It was just bizarre. Maybe it was
Yeah.
kind of like the quasi older brother. He was trying to give off like that friendly vibe of like, hey, I'm cool. I'm the older guy, but I'm not that much older than you. Because it's not
Yeah.
like he was like 50 years old. Like he was young too.
I don't know. I feel
It's
like
just really
he's a little bit
bizarre.
psycho. I feel like he's a little bit diabolical. I think that he did these things because he secretly enjoyed it. He liked putting boys in spandex to laugh at them later on, laugh at their discomfort. That's kind of how I took it because I mean, I remember watching all that. I remember watching the Amanda show, and I remember my sisters and I would talk about it. I'm like, this isn't really funny. Like, why is this funny? Like, why does this guy have a big nose? Why is there like always some kind of like goo substance? I'm like, but I never remember really laughing, but I watched it because it was like, pop culture for our age. But I think that, and then the fear factor shit that he made them do, I think that it was all, like I said, I think it was all malicious, and I think he got enjoyment from it.
I wasn't allowed to watch all that.
Mm.
So, like, just in case there's anyone listening that didn't watch all that, like, what was the premise of the show? I still don't know. I still feel like I'm a 10-year-old where my mom's like, you are not allowed to watch it. I never have seen an episode of all that. I know, like,
Yeah.
kind of the beginning of it, and I knew it was like Keenan and was it Keenan and
Keenan and
Cal, and like
Kel. Yeah.
all of those people, stemmed from the show, or,
Mhm.
eventually had their own show after that. But like,
Right.
was it just a bunch of teenagers like doing silly stuff, kind of like the Amoeba
Literally.
show?
Yeah, it was just
Okay.
skits, random skits. Um, they would have a reoccurring theme or character sometimes. So like when you saw them, you'd be like, "Oh, I know what they're gonna do," but it was always like stupid stuff.
So like a children's SNL.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
But it wasn't really funny. Like I never thought it was funny. It was just,
I've always never really understood Nickelodeon humor.
yeah.
Like
Do you think SpongeBob is funny?
I think that was like my sister's generation. Like I don't.
Yeah.
My parents kept me on like Canadian public television. Like I remember reading Rainbow. I
Yeah. Oh
remember
yeah.
Lamb Chops Sing Along.
Yeah.
Eureka's Castle, I think I
Oh
was allowed
yeah.
to watch on
You watched
Nickelodeon.
like
But
the educational shit.
my mom really had me on the educational, like there was like a mannequin that came to life. Like
Yeah.
there was also like obviously like Mr. Rogers, things like that. But like
Mhm.
when it came to
Trash TV,
trash
you were not in
TV,
it.
I think
Yeah.
I was at max allowed to watch TGIF. But Nickelodeon was kind of off limits and they wouldn't pay for it. And that's before
Mm,
social media, so you wouldn't really be able to
yeah.
get to it unless you were at a friend's
Right.
house.
Oh yeah.
So some of this stuff, it was like the first time me seeing, like like
Gotcha.
Drake Bell, for example, like that was my
Mhm.
sister's generation. But I watched it with my brother-in-law, and my brother-in-law viscerally remembers it
Really?
because
Okay.
that was like circa like 1992 and
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Drake Bell because I still
Girl.
confused because he
Okay, so
got accused.
let's highlight
Okay.
let's highlight some things here that go against the status quo of a victim, right? Usually it's a
Okay.
woman or a child or
Yeah.
girl, right? We think girl. We think like under 12, right? This was
Hmm.
a 15-year-old boy, man, teenager, whatever you want to call him. And
Hmm.
he was repeatedly, violently molested. Okay, that if that doesn't scare you as a parent to your core, I don't know what it's going to take, because when you become like a victim, he felt, and this is what he said. He was like, I felt stuck. There was nothing I could do, and he just kept getting abused over and over and over again. And I mean, my stomach was in knots. But it shows, no one is safe, right? No kid is safe, and you have to be
No kid safe.
vigilant.
And he had a dad that could see through
Oh,
it
he saw it.
and he couldn't do anything about it. He was manipulated out of the situation.
That
And
is
you're right. When a kid's
crazy.
15 years old, they start to make decisions for themselves. It can be difficult. Like
Hmm.
to have a child that's very like hard strung, mixed
Yeah.
in, I imagine like we can't even compare most children's lives to theirs
Right.
because they're, with adults
Yeah.
24/7. So for
Yeah.
them to be with an adult is normal
Right.
rather
Yep.
than like an average 15-year-old to be hanging out with
Right.
like their adult neighbors next door. It watching his dad, is his dad's name's Brian? I can't remember, but
I don't remember.
his dad on the episode where
Mm.
he realized that it was
Yeah.
Drake, right? Because Drake didn't come out publicly for quite some
Yeah.
time, broke me. It broke me. Parents know best.
He knew. Apparently, the trolls of the internet came for his mother and he defended her. I didn't read all the circumstances, but he said it was, she wasn't like she was negligent. It was just different. I guess she worked, I don't know, worked full time or something, and she needed
Yeah.
someone to transport her child. And he said he was very manipulative, so she never would have suspected it.
Yeah, he was basically like
Mhm.
the caregiver.
Yeah.
And he probably made it seem like, hey, don't worry about it. Like,
But
I got
yeah,
him. And
shout out
really,
to the girlfriend's mom though.
mom, hmm,
Yeah, where she was like, absolutely not.
this
This
is
is
not
not normal.
okay.
Yeah, this is not
Hmm.
normal. So cheers to
But
her.
in my mind, like when I saw that part of it, where it was like Pat kept calling the girlfriend's house over
Yeah.
and over and over and over and over trying to reach him.
Hmm.
Where in his brain did he find that to be normal behavior? Like you
Mm,
would think someone that was
that calculated.
that calculated would know better.
But that was emotion at that point because
Oh, okay.
he's desperate, right? It's desperation because he's losing his star victim, right? She has this girlfriend now and he's spending all this time with her. So he's just like he's spiraling.
So you think at that point he just had no concept of
No.
reality. He
No.
was so out of it.
Mhm. Yeah, probably worried about he's like is he talking? Am I going to get busted?
Oh.
Is he moving on? Like, is he outgrowing me? This, like, what and that to me
He
said,
couldn't control it.
yeah, spiral. Hmm.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that it was just earth shattering. I mean, when they asked him to describe the abuse, and he was, I mean, it
He
looked like,
couldn't.
I mean,
He
I
said the
mean, cheer.
worst things that you could ever think of.
I mean, the ultimate compliment to him for coming forth and sharing this story because it really has the capacity to help other kids.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about that because we did some research on this subject, and so the first piece is open communication. It's important to have open and honest communication with your children, and encourage them to share concerns or ask questions.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I think can be hard for parents because you're the adult, you want to have boundaries. It's
Mhm.
like it's in this day and age tough because you want them to be able to come to you, and you need to do it in a way, if you are going to have tough conversations, in a way that's going to make them know that it's okay to come back. you know
Yeah.
I just had a situation happen to me, right? Like,
Mhm.
I had the best intentions to communicate, right? And then all of a sudden I'm finding out like I
Yeah.
didn't do it a certain way. And now
Yeah.
I don't want to come back to that person because I'm like, I'm shut off. I
Right.
don't now. I'm like, okay, what
Yeah.
is the right way to come to
Right.
you? And that happens all of the time. And if it's like two adults, right, that care about each other, love each other, and we'll get past it. But like if
Yeah.
it's two adults that have that, imagine a kid that's not
Mm.
cognitively
Right.
able to feel comfortable again. Like,
Right.
it's going to be tough. But I think, as parents, we need to think of different ways to create a safe space within the family,
Yeah.
so that they can communicate.
I think, there was just an added layer of complexity here just because they were child actors. They were like children forced into adult roles. So
Mm-hmm.
they took on just so much more responsibility. I think that it makes it blurs the lines of kid and adult.
Yeah.
And I think, one of the child actors, she's a mom now, she said, my children will never,
Yeah.
ever, ever do TV. And, I wonder how far that message is going to go, and is it going to resonate with a lot of parents? Because if it does, they're going to have a hard time finding anyone to be a child actor anymore. They're going to have to make some laws to protect these children.
Yeah.
Because that guy, the creep that molested
He got
Drake.
rehired
Yes,
at Disney.
at Disney with little boys, the Zach and Cody show or whatever.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah. And that's like, do you not have background checks? Like, that is literally a federal offense.
You're working with children. I mean, is that a law? I don't know. Like, did they change that? Did they make it a law that if you're going to work with children, like, I don't
You
think he had
need,
a history. Didn't they say something like that? Like they
well,
did
I
do
think
it.
he took his word, they said. Like, it was
Yeah,
like the other producers of The Sweet Life with those, what is it, Cody and
Zach
Zach
and
or something,
Cody.
Zach and
Yeah, yeah,
Cody. that they were like, oh yeah, this happened, but it's all good now. And
Yeah.
they didn't do their due diligence. Like it was almost like
Right.
in life, it's who you know. No, it might be who you know, but like let's get some layers of security
Yeah.
put in because you don't know everyone
Right.
and you don't know creeps. And they
And
are literally crazy enough to make you feel like they're normal.
right. And so he was so good at manipulating people. He got a bunch of actors to write letters of support for himself.
Yes.
And they said like
41.
they were like he would never do this, but he never told them the story. I think he said one of them said he told them, "Oh, it was jailbait. It was, it was dangled in front of me. I would never like look for this on my own." But like,
Yeah.
regardless, if someone told me that was jailbait, I'm be like, no, you're a sick fuck. Like, why? Like, no, like that shouldn't even be a real like a thing.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Imagine being Drake Bell. You are finally brave enough to have this
Oh
person
yeah.
locked up, and you have 41, and these were
Mm-mm.
well-known actors at the time that
Yep.
had no information. They were
Yep.
manipulated to write those
Yep.
letters, and then they all had to come back to say
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. And did you watch the updated? They had an interview with him after this all aired. They talked about that, and he said he has moved on, but he does not really. He said I can never get that memory out of my head, and
Oh my
and it's not.
goodness.
And he doesn't. I think he's like he accepted their apology, but like not really.
I
Like it
mean,
was so
yeah.
fucked up. Like,
Because it's like, how would 41 people know? And
mm-mm.
like, it kind of goes back to like what I always say is there's always someone that's nice to someone. That doesn't
Hmm.
make them a good person,
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're evil, you're not going to be evil to every single person you meet. You're going to have your victims.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
that's
all,
scary.
it's all about the grooming. So, I mean, this was a huge eye opener. I mean, when I was growing up, my parents never really trusted anyone. We never had sleepovers for that reason. Church, whatever, it didn't matter. They're like, they never really gave me a reason. But now I see, I mean, you never really know anyone.
No, you don't. And that goes into the second tip of, teaching your children to create boundaries. Like, they need to know what their personal boundaries are, and we need to teach them what appropriate behavior is. And kids need to be able to recognize and assert their boundaries, and be able to vocalize what consent is, and if it's something that's violating their rights to speak up. um
I don't feel like that was something that was so. I mean, like, yeah, our parents told us about like molestation and
yeah,
stranger danger and stuff, but I don't feel like I was ever taught that my voice mattered,
right,
and I feel like with our children's generation, I feel like that's a huge difference between the
yeah,
two.
because we just are exposed to more now,
Yeah.
right? Like, there wasn't really as many opportunities probably
Yeah.
for, and I say this generally, right? But we're just in a
Right.
different world with technology and
Right.
consumption of different things. That, yeah, I think it is something that you're absolutely right. Like, we need to now put that into our parenting book to talk about
Mhm.
boundaries. And I think also that goes to the next point of safety rules, right? Like, technology,
Mhm.
like you talked about it earlier, like
Yeah.
there's a really fine line between children and adults. What is that online? How do you
Yeah.
monitor that?
Mm.
Unless you genuinely have a lot of supervision.
Right. Yeah. And that's the scary thing about I think sleepovers nowadays. It was more like taboo to not go to them, in the 90s and stuff. So I was that
Yeah.
weird kid. But nowadays, I think we just spoke with someone on the podcast about that. It's very trendy because there's all these new avenues of exposure.
Yeah.
There's the smartphones, the laptops, even, we had the TVs too, but how much are these parents watching them? So you can
Yeah.
watch them like a hawk, but you let them go over little Susie, little Johnny's house, and their parents is a free for
Maybe their
all,
parents are working.
or
Like,
they have older siblings that are,
yeah.
think it's funny to corrupt children. You don't know.
Yeah. I would say unless you really, really know the family,
But do you?
I wouldn't let my child sleep over anywhere.
But that's like an oxymoron. Do you ever really know anyone unless they're your blood?
Yeah.
You think you know, but do you really? I mean, like this man paraded around like he was just a gay man, blah blah blah, but he was a literal pedophile.
Oh my goodness. This is such a good episode. I'm sure everyone's going back and forth in their heads, like, oh my goodness, like,
I know. Comment
because
below.
yeah, comment below. Like, there is no team Celia versus Cammy, but like,
No.
this is a lot of like really good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one thing that we can agree on is educating about consent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like children have to be able to, advocate for themselves, assert those boundaries. We need to monitor online activity,
Yeah.
um, and teach them potential risks. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
that's tough because it's like you don't want them to see this content. Like, you don't want your child to watch this
No.
docuseries. But at the same time, like, should
Right.
they? Like, at a certain age, is it appropriate? You know what I mean? Like, how do you
Mm-hmm.
teach this? Like, we need
Right.
a mama. Are you listening? We need a
Yeah.
mama with teenagers that has done this with their teenagers
Yeah.
to come educate us on how. Like, how do you identify the warning signs of
Mm-hmm.
exploitation, of child
Mm-hmm.
abuse? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you have that discussion with your children to protect them?
Mm-hmm.
And
I
how do we
know.
encourage each other as parents,
Yeah.
right? To trust our instincts and to put our foot down. Like, I think we're going to talk about this in an upcoming episode with Moms
Yeah.
Across America. Like, do you give a shit or don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. It's now like half and half. It's like sometimes you have to be the fucking crazy parent.
Yeah.
And maybe
And it's
it's like
okay.
they're not going to a sleepover, you know? Maybe
Yeah, like,
it's
you are not allowed.
yeah.
And here's why.
Yeah.
And this is tough. I get
Mm-hmm.
it. But mommy cares about you.
Yeah.
And these are the rules.
You know, as they say, kids do better with boundaries than
Hmm.
not. So, you know, they'll love you for it eventually. I mean, I read the story once about a girl and she went to a sleepover with a bunch of other girls. She was allowed to go to sleepovers once she turned 18. And so when she turned 18, like literally the next day, she had a sleepover booked. So she goes to her friend's house for a sleepover. And she was like, yeah, my parents are lame. They never let me go to a sleepover before I turned 18. And then the girls all got silent and a lot of them started crying. And they said, I wish my parents loved me enough to protect me because X happened, Y happened. I saw this. I was exposed to that. This guy was creepy with me at someone else's house. Like literally, as she said, every single woman's teenager had a story. And so she came home and she hugged her parents and she said, thank you for keeping me safe.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lesson learned right there. That's like kind of like going to the trust your instinct as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's tough that, especially now that we're parents, like, I think it's going to be tough to deal with those boundaries of like having your kid be included, but also
Yeah.
like having force restrictions when needed
Mm-hmm.
based on your own comfort.
Right.
And then it hits the conversation of like control versus, trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's very tricky.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I think what we can do, because no one's going to be perfect, is,
Yeah.
teach them how to report things if things aren't, appropriate,
Right.
right? Like,
Mhm.
let them know who
I
can
think
help them.
from a basic level, from now, this is what we're teaching Kalina is basically we don't keep secrets.
Yeah.
So if someone tries to get you to keep a secret, you come tell
Yep.
mommy, daddy immediately.
Yep. That basically wraps us, is
Yeah.
creating a supported environment, and having those type of strategies to nurture children so that they have the environment where they know that they can do that. Like, you want to have a positive relationship with your children. You need a positive relationship with your children.
If you haven't watched the docu-series, you need to. And it's not just for
Oh my
child. I don't think
gosh.
it's not just for child stars. It's for
It's
any
for
child.
any parent too.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to be a child actor for
Mm-mm.
something like that to happen.
No.
That could happen anywhere.
And it teaches, you know, you to speak up.
Hmm.
Even if everyone thinks that everything's okay, it's not. And you know it's not. So
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if you got this, but the one thing that I took away from Drake Bell and
Yeah.
his um courage is
Yeah.
that therapy helps,
Mm.
right? Like he says like he's been in therapy.
Trauma
I'm
therapy.
sure this like trauma therapy. I'm sure this was like
Yeah.
exposure therapy for
Yep.
him.
Huge. He said
I
huge amounts of therapy.
yeah, I took that away from the episode
Yeah.
as like getting your children the help that they need, and
Hmm.
sometimes that's not you as a
Yeah.
parent.
Yeah. That's a really good point. We can't do it all on our own, right? It
No, we
takes a
can't.
village. So
Yeah. We don't need to say anything else,
anymore. Yeah.
okay? We have, if you have not watched the documentary, watch it,
Comment below. Let us know
comment.
what you think.
And then outside of that, we have so much coming up in the next couple months. We have so many amazing guests,
So many. We're going to educate the shit out of you guys.
but we need your help, right? We have a couple sharks in the water, if you will, okay? We have sniffed out a couple haters that came on Spotify and gave us a low rating.
Ooh, yeah.
Number one, I have a PSA to those people. Why do you care? Right? Like, we are two women, two moms, two full-time employees trying to create a community
Mm-hmm.
to help people. If you don't like it, simply
Move on.
but like to purposely give us a bad rating, like, and I
Yeah.
get it. Like,
It's
you
so
do
high school,
you.
though.
But
It's
so
so high school.
stupid,
So stupid,
okay?
mean girl. Like,
That has to be mean girls out there.
let's
Like,
move
so
on.
dumb.
Let's
Like, what are
evolve.
you doing? The
Like,
people,
just
like,
block it.
actually, you know what? If you're gonna give us a 1-star review, and there's like 3 of you or 4 of you out there, like, we see it.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell us who you are and why.
Yeah,
I
comment
want an
below.
explanation why. It can be
DM us.
anonymous. DM us, get a burner account. I want to know why, because what are you doing? Okay? You're
Yeah.
not doing anything. You're giving us a negative comment on Spotify.
While
And
you eat your snacks.
right, while you eat your unorganic snacks,
Yeah.
right? Anyways, we need your support to rate, specifically on Spotify. Everywhere else is cool. Maybe we shouldn't tell them that, because then
Yeah, right.
haters are going to go to the other
I know, they're
platforms.
gonna be like, wow.
But we need your help to rate it. We want you to subscribe it. We want you to write into us. Go to
So
mombetch.com.
other people can find it.
Yes.
We can help more moms.
I
That's
know.
the
Like,
mission,
all
y'all.
we're doing is just researching this information so you don't have to. And we're
Mhm.
learning so much. But the guests we have are just, as you would say, fire. I'm so
I'm proud
amped
of
for
you
the
for
next
that.
couple months.
Fire.
I know. So please, please, please follow us. We have so much coming up. We're so excited to share this with you. Until next time, stay fabulous, mom bitches.
Bye.
Women need to empower women, and our voice matters.
Bitch.